Hi everyone. In this lesson, we're going to go over how to create a cumulative frequency distribution, like the one that we have pictured right here, and a cumulative frequency polygon, or ogive, like the one that we have pictured here. So going back to the Macintosh Auto data, recall that we had previously created this frequency distribution right here using Excel. And so we have these as our classes and these as our frequencies for the profits. These were the profits over here. So in other words, 24 sales generated profits between $800 and $1,399. So we're going to create a cumulative frequency distribution. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another column right over here. We're going to call that our cumulative frequency. And we'll also do a percent cumulative frequency. Now the cumulative frequency for the first cell is just going to be 20. That's the number of sales between $200 and $799. Now the next cumulative frequency is going to be the sum of these two cells. So it's going to be the sum of 20 and 24, or just 44, of course. Now we're going to have Excel do this automatically for us so that we can just copy these down. So what we're going to type in here is we're going to type in equals this cell right here, that is cell M2, plus what is in cell K3. And you see that gives us 44. So this value 44 is the sum of these two frequencies. Now for the next cell right here, we want the sum of these three frequencies. Now that's going to be these two plus this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 44 plus 36. So in other words, it's just going to be equals what's in cell M3 plus what's in cell K4. And you see we get 80. Now of course what we could have done is just copied this cell, right, the formula from this cell right down to this one, because what we typed in down here was basically just a copy of the formula from up here. You see, if I hit F2 to show you that edit, there we go. So you see the first formula we typed in was M2 plus K3, and then this one here was M3 plus K4. So you see, we could have just copied this cell straight down. So what we'll do then is just copy downward for the rest of them. So just copy down like this. And there you go. We have our cumulative frequency table. Notice, for example, this 106 is the sum of 20 plus 24 plus 36 plus 26. That will give you 106. Or in other words, the 106 is the 80, which is the sum of the first three frequencies right here, plus 26. That's what the formula here is doing for us automatically. Of course, you could create a cumulative frequency table by hand just by adding these up and typing the number over here. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just, with Excel you can automate the process, make it a little bit easier. Now let's do the percent cumulative frequency. So what's going to go in this cell is going to be 20 divided by 200 and times 100. So we're going to take this 20 right here, divide by 200, and then multiply by 100. So it's simply going to be equals what's in cell M2 divided by what is in cell, we can either use this cell right here, which is our total, or we could use this cell right here, that is cell M9 in this case, And I'm going to use dollar signs, so when I copy down, that 200 doesn't change. And then we could multiply by 100 to turn it into a percent. And there we go, so that's 10%. And then we can just drag down like this. And there you go. There are our cumulative frequency percents. Notice the last cell is 100%. Now, when we create a cumulative frequency table, really we should redo our class labels here. These class labels should be changed as follows. I'm just going to copy these down and create a new table right here just to show you what these labels should be. So I'm just going to go Control C, and then I'm just going to copy the values right down here. There we go. Now the classes really should be, if you look at this number 20, this is the number of sales that generated profits less than $700 or less than $800. So we're going to put less than 800 right here. Now the 44, if we add up these two cells, that means that 44 sales generated profits less than or equal to $1,399 or less than $1,400. So we'll put a less than 1,400 right here. And so you see what I'm putting right here is less than the lower class limits right here. So if we just continue this, I'm going to go less than 2,000. And the last one is going to be less than 5,000, even though I don't have a 5,000 right here. That 5,000 comes from the 4,999. The next number greater than it is 5,000. And so there you go. Here is our cumulative frequency table with the class labels listed properly. And so the way you read this table is, for example, if you look at 106 right here, 106 sales generated profits less than $2,600, or 53% of all your sales generated profits less than $2,600. And so there you go. That's how we construct a cumulative frequency table. And let me point out one other thing here. If you did want the percents to appear here, you could format these cells right here as percents, but then you would have to get rid of the times 100. So let me show you. If you get rid of these times 100s and then just drag that down, and then you could format all of these cells as percents. So highlight them, right click, format cell, and then we want to format them as a percentage. Choose how many decimal places you want. And there you go. You see you have percents, and then we could have copied that down right here if we wanted the percents to appear. And I would copy as values, so we don't want the formulas down there. Try that again. Oh, I have to format these as percents as well. And there you go. There you have percents then, the percent symbols in there. And so there is our cumulative and percent cumulative frequency tables. Now that we constructed our cumulative frequency and percent frequency table, let's take a look at constructing a cumulative frequency polygon or ogive like the one that we have pictured right here. So going back to our data set, what we're going to have to do is modify this table a little bit. So I'm going to take these values right here, our cumulative frequencies, and I'm just going to copy them somewhere else in the spreadsheet so I can manipulate them a little bit. Now what we want is right before the 20, we want to put a 0 there. That way the cumulative frequency polygon will start on the x-axis, as you'll see. Now for this column right here, what I'm going to want to put here is my column of lower class limits. So I'm going to copy these and put them right here, starting with the 0, right aside of that 0. Alright, and you see I'm going to have to fill in one spot right here. Let's see, the difference between these is 600, so then this one right here will be 5,000. Now we can construct our cumulative frequency polygon, or ogive, just by doing this. Just highlight both of these columns of data right here, go up to Insert, and we're going to insert a scatter plot with lines right here. And there you go. There is our ogive, or cumulative frequency polygon. We can clean this up a little bit. Let's have change our axis here a little bit. You see that point right there is 200 on the x-axis. This point is really 800, and that point right there would be 1400. So let's change these labels down here like this. I'm going to highlight the x-axis labels, right-click on them, and click Format Axis. Now I'm going to start the axis at a minimum value of, let's say, 200. And a maximum value, we go up to 5,000, so 6,000 is okay. We could put maybe 5,400 there. Our units, let's go by units of, let's see, we can experiment here. Well, let's put 600 since that's our class widths. And yeah, okay, that looks pretty good right there. You see, we started at 200, then we go to 800, 1400, 2000, and that's the same as our column values right here, our lower class limits right here. And then of course we could add a chart title, labels down here like we have pictured here. We have profits and cumulative frequencies over here, so we could add those labels. Highlight your chart, click on Design, add chart element, axis titles, and there you go. And there. We have a chart that looks just like the one that we have pictured in our notes. Now, we don't have the percent labels over here on the right. I would recommend that you just create a separate chart for that. Those are rather tricky to try to get those on the right-hand side. I would recommend just doing a separate chart for that. So if you did want to do that, all you have to do there, let's move this chart over here. Instead of this column of data values here, you would have your percents over here. So we could just take these, put them over here, and then do the same thing we did before. Just highlight both columns of your data, insert a scatter plot line. Let me go through that again for you in case that was too fast. Highlight that, insert, scatter, and then the line. And there you go. And you see what you have over here now are your percents. And that concludes our lesson about constructing cumulative frequency tables and ogives.